Hello and welcome back to the Vintage Bookworm. Today in this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. We've been doing a read-along on Dorothy Kilgallen, who was a super prominent, successful, famous journalist and personality of the 1950s. And that made me think about some of the craziest fad diets through the decades. And now, before I get into this, trigger warning, we're talking about diets, diet culture. However, I'm not going to be doing these diets because, quite frankly, a lot of them, I'm going to turn my car on. I just finished shopping for this video. Yeah, these diets are pretty intense starvation diets. And one of them includes basically staying day drunk all day, and I'm a mom of two, so I can't do that. But instead, what I'm going to be doing is kind of having one example for breakfast. If there's a drink, I'll have the drink during the day. I'll have one of the examples for dinner, and we'll just talk about how these diets were done and the idea behind them, because I don't think it's safe or healthy to do that, and I don't want to fall back into this the weird diet mindset that I used to have, So we'll do each of them separately. So I got things to make. I have to make, well, these are because I like them. I got cabbage because I'm gonna make cabbage soup. We're gonna go over the cabbage soup diet. There is one diet where you basically have a glass of wine with a boiled egg all day. It's like keto with wine. So basically you're starving and drunk all day. And then I have something for the cayenne pepper drink. It was the ultimate cleanse they would do. And I'll say what decade each one is from. But yeah, it's meant to be lighthearted, entertaining, fun, and really kind of put you in the headspace of what was going on at the time, body-wise, culture-wise, with the diets. As I said, I'm not going to do the full diet, which is probably less than 500 calories a day with a lot of these. But I'm going to show you guys what the idea is, basically. And also, I'm not a doctor or nutritionist, and I do not recommend that you do these or any diets without consulting your doctor first.
All right, so we are going to start with the primarily wine and egg diet. So the egg and wine diet was first popularized in Helen Gurley Brown's book, Sex and the Single Girl, The Unmarried Woman's Guide to Men in 1962, and it was published in Vogue magazine in 1977. The diet advocated for the consumption of 3 to 5 eggs per day plus 24 fluid ounces of bottled wine. If you didn't know, that's basically 1 bottle of wine a day. So essentially you're having 1 boiled egg in the morning with the glass of wine, 1 boiled egg for lunch with the glass of wine, and then at night, a 4 to 6 ounce cut of meat grilled with a glass of wine. I think the idea behind this was that essentially being buzzed, if not drunk, made the diet and starvation more tolerable. Oh, you can also have black coffee. Here, you can see I put this on the screen here, and you would lose about 5 pounds in 3 days. So I did this at night as a snack because I'm only going to have wine at night since my kids are going to bed and I'm going to bed. And I mean, I could see the appeal if you were just I need to lose weight, but I want to be basically drunk while doing it because I hate dieting. And then I had some more Quest chips after, and I finished half that bottle of wine, but I would not do that again. This reminded me of the Sleeping Beauty diet, which basically, if you've read this article, it slowed this person's metabolism and fueled their depression. The idea was once you finish your allowed calories for the day, you just take a sleeping pill and go to bed. Now, I don't know how this would work with the work schedule, and it seems super destructive and a bad hole to go down, but I see the parallels because basically you're trading your desire for food, you're kind of just going into an addiction or an avoidant routine, whether it's avoiding through alcohol consumption or avoiding through just sleeping, which is incredibly toxic. But, this is the lengths people will go to attain whatever kind of body that they are desiring at the time or what body type is in at the time. See, that diet was around the 60s and 70s. That's coming about the time when a very petite, wafy look was in for women. Okay, next up is the Master Cleanse diet, which consists of just warm water, maple syrup, a cap full of maple syrup, lemon juice, and cayenne pepper. Now, I'm just going to try the drink. I'm not going to drink this for a whole day. Actually, I think they say drink it for 10 days. It got some resurgence in around 2006 when Beyonce used it to get thinner for her role in Dreamgirls. But it was developed by Stanley Burroughs, who initially marketed it in the 40s, and it got revived in 1976 in his book, The Master Cleanse. And people claimed that it tones and changes the body, it cleanses your body, and lets your body heal itself, although there's no real evidence for that. But, sometimes fasting for a short period of time is beneficial to kind of reset your body. But people have done this for like 10 days, 2 weeks at a time or more. And that sounds crazy to me because you're just going to gain all that weight back and then some. But similar to the one we just covered, it really got popular again in the 70s to 80s, which is again a time when an extreme thinness was in fashion. Now, that kind of seems to be the case always, but there's other periods in time where having a more voluptuous, like full figure was in, but a lot of these diets came back into prominence and popularity when being extremely thin and bony was in. It's okay. I like spicy things, but I mean, having it all day, every day, I couldn't do. Finally, here we have the cabbage soup diet. I'm going to eat this for dinner. It's good. I don't mind cabbage. If you don't like cabbage, you're going to hate it. I remember my mom doing this diet, and it was created in the 50s and 60s, and I think it got like super popular again in the 80s. But basically, you just take vegetable broth, cabbage, and like low calorie vegetables, like say carrots or something else, celery, and just cook it down in the vegetable broth and enjoy that for dinner or a couple times through the day. And you are supposed to shed weight pretty quickly because, again, you're having an extremely calorie deficit diet with basically water-based vegetables and water, really. Again, not sustainable, but again, rose to prominence during a time where extreme thinness was in. Now, some of the more ridiculous and destructive and even more crazy diets I came across was that tapeworms were actually a thing for a while. I think this is a real, like, poster for it. If it's not, I'm sure they're very similar. I cannot imagine the desperation to be thin enough that you want to ingest a parasite. It's insane to me. Another one was just pushing smoking, that future you will be fat if you grab that sweet. So go ahead and just grab that cigarette instead. To be fair, at the time, most people just smoked and didn't really know or didn't really care about the potential health risks or, pretty much definite health risks. But yeah, so smoking was offered as an alternative to eating. And then, I don't know, like forcing yourself into some sort of diabetic weight loss by just only having sugar is also insanity and extremely unhealthy, but that was also pushed for a time. I'm sure people were like, oh, it's fat free. Yeah, of course, sugar's fat free, but it's sugar. But if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and come back to the Vintage Bookworm, where we're doing a read along right now on the story of Dorothy Kilgallen, a prominent journalist and media figure of the 1950s and 60s. And I'm going to do a lot more content on my channel that has to do with vintagey type things. So if that interests you, please like, subscribe, comment, and come on back. Thanks for watching.